Hello and welcome back to the Love Unfiltered podcast, the podcast where we get different perspectives on all things relationships, dating, self-worth, and any of your dilemmas that you send through. Today I have my lovely friend Nick, who has volunteered to come on and answer any of your questions that you've sent through to me. So thank you for sending them across. And the reason that I've chosen Nick is because, one, he's a good friend, but also he is someone that we need more of in the world. We need more men like Nick. He knows how to treat women right, but he's also seen the other side of it, being a single man in Dubai. So thank you very much, Nick, and welcome.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm going to dive straight in with the questions. So if I'm looking at my notebook here, it's because I don't want to miss any of the questions that the ladies have sent through. And the first question is, what are your beliefs on sex on the first date?
Difficult question, because I think it depends on where you both are when you're going on that first date. You can both be in a situation whereby, okay, there might be a bit of talking going on before, but neither of you are really looking for anything. So if you're both going into that date with the mindset of, I'm just going to see how it goes, if I like the person, I'll sleep with them, then I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay.
But from a guy's perspective, it can be a bit of a tricky one. In my situation before, for example, if I like someone, I try not to sleep with them on the first date, because then I have the chance to chase, which most guys want to do, which hopefully leads on to something and something else after that. But I have been in situations where I have slept with someone I like on a first date, and I've ended up being with them afterwards. So in both cases, it just depends on where you are mindset-wise before going on to that date.
Okay, do you think mindset-wise and the person?
100%.
Because like my thoughts on this is, and this is where I need you to correct me if I'm wrong, but like for me, if I don't really like the person, but I'm feeling a bit, you know what I mean? I would rather sleep with that person than if I really like them, because I want them to chase me, and I don't. And we always have this fear of, as soon as you sleep with them, that's it. It's done, and like you're probably going to get ghosted and all of those things. So for me, I'm like, okay, if I really like this person, I'm definitely not going to sleep with you for at least 3-4 days.
Couple of days, 3-date rule, right? That's what we all hear. But
okay.
From a guy's point of view, we can sleep with people, girls in this case, and not feel anything.
Yes.
Like it can be very robotic. Like it could be the best date in the world or the worst date in the world. But if I'm feeling a certain type of way, I'm probably going to do it regardless. So it's a bit different from a guy's perspective than it might be for a girl. You might feel a bit more, as you just said, whereas me or a guy could just be like, I'm just going to do it anyway because I've come here, I've gone on the date, spent some time together, why not?
Fair, because I also read a book as well called Fuck Him, Nice Girls Always Finish Last. And he talks about like always holding off, because initially a man's perspective is to go in and just want to sleep with. A man goes into a date wanting to sleep with someone regardless of anything, and then if you make him chase, you've got more of a chance of it working out. Is that true?
Very, very true. Like, just speaking from my guy friends here in Dubai, if we were going on a date beforehand and they came back and they said I hadn't slept with that girl, you'd kind of get not ridiculed, but you would get the piss taken out of you. Like, you've just wasted your time, you've spent X amount of money on the date, you've that type of thing.
Fair.
So from a guy's perspective, if they don't, not all guys, some guys, if they don't sleep with someone on the first date, it's seen as, oh, you've got no game, you've got no chat, you've got no... So that's how boys tend to jibe at one another. So it's also that comes into it. Yeah, that comes into it quite a lot as well.
Yeah, and by the way, to the listeners, everything we're talking about is generalised. So don't come at us with different things, because everybody has different opinions, but we're trying to get into a man's thoughts and mindset. So everything is generalised. So leading on from that, what if you are out on a night out and you've met someone that you really fancy and they've gone back with you straight after a night out? Would you want to see that person again, or what's your perspective on that?
More often than not, no. But it depends how good the sex was.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, if the sex was good and you want to like have someone to chat to for a little while and just see where things go, then yeah, I probably would. 9 times out of 10, probably not. And that goes, again, generalizing for most guys. I'm going to speak about my guy friends here. More often than not, it should be like, have a lovely day. See you later. See you later.
See you around.
Yeah, see you around. Maybe see you again down the pub. But yeah, more often than not, no.
Do you think that's because it makes women come across as easy, or what is the thought process behind that? Other than obviously if it's great sex, you're going to want that again.
Because you've accomplished what you wanted to go out and accomplish. Like if you're going out and it happens, then you've ticked that box. I've had sex.
Yeah.
Most of my friends have gone home with a girl or whatever it may be. Thanks. I'd rather pursue someone that I like, want to speak to, want to get to know, rather than someone I've met for half an hour when I'm drunk and just being like, right, we're going home. And it's just different.
Yeah.
Because there might be very few words that come out of each other's mouths apart from, should we get McDonald's on the way home?
Oh yeah, starving.
Yeah. It's different in that perspective because you don't actually know the person. It's more of a physical, let me just do it. Or if it's later on in the night and there's not many people left, you just pick up the scraps and you're like, right, you're coming home with me. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I get that. I do, and I've heard that a lot. But what about if, another one, is if you're out on a night out, take the girl home, but then she doesn't put out?
I mean, look, that's happened to all of us. You wake up very frustrated the next morning and you possibly try to usher her out so that you can relieve yourself. And then...
Right, yeah.
Sorry, too much information.
No, fair, I like it. We need it in true facts, that's what we need.
Yeah, it is true, but like if that has happened to me, and when that's happened to me, I've wanted to pursue it again because I didn't get to do what I wanted to do the night before. Now you'd probably be a bit pissed off, like, why did you come home with me? I could have taken someone else home.
Yep.
But yeah, I probably would message them for a bit. Have done in the past. I've messaged those girls just to then sleep with them.
Yeah, but is it with that pure intention? So you're not thinking, right, I want to get to know this person.
Don't get me wrong. If I get to know the person, and again, it has happened in the past where I've actually got to know the person and they've turned out to be one of my exes. It does happen, but sometimes, again, it goes back to mindset. Where are you in your life? Are you looking for something? Are you open to the idea? Or are you actually completely closed off to it, whereby you're just going to do it just for the sake of completing the challenge?
Okay, and now you've opened up me to having another question for you is, when it comes to wanting a relationship, do you think for men it is about timing in their life? It's not like for us women, and I'm again generalizing here, but we're always out to try, not out as in out on a night out, but out to try and find somebody to settle down with. Do men have that same thought process, or is it just like timing of their life, like maybe career comes first and then relationship, or like when do you think you're ready to settle?
I mean, that's a hard question to answer because I didn't think I was ready to settle, and I've got myself into a relationship which has just kind of hit me in the face. But at no point was I thinking that I'm looking for a relationship. I thought I'm quite happy being single. I'm just enjoying myself, going out. And I can speak like for one of my friends as well who's in exactly the same situation. It just kind of hit him in the face with a girl that he got along with and so on and so on. And now they're in a relationship. But yeah, it just, you have to be, I think, at a certain place in your life where you're in love with yourself, happy with yourself, your job's in a good place, you're stable, money's not something to be concerned about. And then I think it becomes more, you become more open to wanting a relationship rather than just going around and just sleeping with people.
Yeah, that is interesting though, because for so long, like, I mean, I do a lot of reading and do a lot of watching of TikToks and videos for what I do. And they all, like, a lot of people, and it's mainly women that say this actually, and some men, but it's like they always say about the timing of your life. So it's interesting that it just hit you and it hit your friend. And so it doesn't actually necessarily mean, oh, once they've got this ticked, then they're ready to find somebody that wants to be in a relationship with.
There's an interesting Jordan Peterson podcast that he did where he said men and women don't actually know what they want. Okay, so you have certain like checklists, let's just say, in your mind, or notes, as most of you women do. I've seen them. And when you're ready at that point in your life, if that person and yourself come into each other's lives and you tick a certain number of boxes for each other, that's when you can maybe be open to start exploring the avenue of going into a relationship. But otherwise, men and women don't really know what they want.
You're right. I think I know what I want, but do I? I don't know.
Because how often have you heard the phrase saying, he's my type, or I've actually ended up in a relationship with someone who's not my type.
Yeah. And actually the people that end up in relationships with people that are like not particularly their type, they seem to last longer anyway.
Precisely. The type that you might have in your mind, or whatever you thought you wanted from however old till now, you probably won't end up with that person or that type of person. You probably will end up with someone who's a bit more X, Y, and Z than what you were looking for. Yeah,
okay, that's fair. It makes sense. Okay, on to the next question. I've diverged, sorry girls, on to about 1 million questions in that one question. But why do men act really keen, tell you everything they want to hear, and then go quiet or ghost you?
I guess it comes back to what we said earlier on about to get the person, the girl, I don't like using the word seduce, but to get them, to get them seduced, or to get them to be open to sleeping with you, you have to say a certain number of things to them to make them believe, oh, he actually really likes me. Once that's done, then you probably will sleep with them. And then more often than not, the guy will probably be like, right, I've slept with the person, on to the next.
And is that because you think mindset though? Like, because if you've spent, see, for me, it's just such a waste of time. If you've spent 6-7 weeks getting to know someone, and then it's like, okay, we've slept with someone, and then we've slept together, and then, oh, that's finished. Like, because for women, we think, oh, what if we were bad in bed? Or what if they don't fancy me anymore? And all of those questions, like, it really affects girls' self-esteem. So, but for men, it's just like, oh no, I just wanted to sleep with you, and then it's done. Like,
you said 6-7 weeks, like now in today's age, I think it takes maybe a week or 2 weeks max. So 6-7 weeks is maybe a bit extreme, but it's again where you are in your life. But more often than not, you hear the word game a lot. If you're saying to your mate, oh, I have 6 weeks and I've gone on 10 dates and I've not slept with her, your mates are going to be taking the piss out of you. Okay. So again, it comes. Boys are funny in that sense because they always banter. You hear boy banter, laddie banter, but it plays a big part in getting into each other's minds.
Right, okay.
Like boys can actually put each other off from seeing someone just because the girl is probably doing the right thing and having some respect for herself, or not putting out on the first date or the second date. So you have to also remember that boys in the background are just as mean as girls can be on themselves, or hard on themselves, or in each other's groups. Yeah. So just remember that as well.
So what are you suggesting? Do we wait? Do we not? Do we give them what they want?
Give a bit of a chase. Like there has it more often than not. Again, general terms.
Yeah, general terms.
You need to give a bit of a chase. You need to let the boy follow up with you, ask you on multiple dates. Don't be okay, he's called me, he wants to go on a date tonight. Actually, I'm busy. You might not be doing anything. You might be sat at home painting your toenails. But then the guy's like, oh, maybe she's got other options. Maybe she's doing something else. Like, give him a reason to want to chase you, to make him curious.
Okay. And so like with that, if you knew that girl was loyal just to you, and is like very early on dating stage, is that a put off, or do you think that's attractive?
No, it's attractive. 100%. No guy will openly say that, I want my girl that I'm seeing to be sleeping with other guys.
No, yeah, of course.
Because, you know what guys are like, right? It's a pride thing at the end of the day. So, it's very attractive.
But so say like you're saying, when they're busy and you're like, oh, I wonder if they're with someone else, and it's giving them a chase, is that the attractive part of it? Or
that's the attractive part. Because when you then eventually go on the date, it's going to get brought into conversation. The guy might say, what were you doing? And you might come up with some answers, and then what you're doing, like he will start to dig for answers from you. And once he starts to dig for those answers, the guys will kind of put 2 and 2 together and figure it out eventually. But it's that curiosity. It's that, what is she doing? Is she free? Is she busy? Is she seeing someone else? Do I need to up my game? Do I need to do something better with her? I want to be that guy that she's spending. And then, of course, over time, you become more available, and things naturally, hopefully, go into something.
Progress in the way that you want. So it is, look, so we've got to play a little bit of a game. But it's not like toxic games. It's more chase.
Chase. And I'm talking early on. I'm not talking 6-7 weeks in. No, I'm talking like the first couple of weeks. That's when you want to be a bit
aloof.
Reserved.
Fair. Okay. Interesting. I like it. Next question is, what do you think the thought process behind cheating is? That's a really tough one, because I know that obviously it's circumstances, different situations, but in general.
If you're unhappy in a relationship, if there's temptation, there's always temptation.
Yep.
If you're going out frequently and let's say live in the best of two lives, which is single life and relationship life, at some point someone's going to speak to the guy or the girl, and flirtiness is going to start coming up. He's probably going to ask for your number, or she might do something which is going to go in for a kiss or whatever it may be. So it works both ways, of course. But once you start going down that route and it becomes habit, and you maybe like the attention, you crave the attention that your partner's not giving you, then the cheating spiral might start. And if you're not happy in that relationship, it's just going to go one way.
See, from a mind perspective, and again, generalized women's, but I think for women, we do it when, I say we do it like I've done it. I have never. But we do it, from people that I know, they do it from if they're unhappy. Yeah. But I feel like, and women don't really have a wandering eye unless they're missing something in their relationship. But I feel like men do have, their temptation is easier to take because women don't care. Yeah. If I'll give you an example. I was out at the weekend, and there was a famous person there, and he's married, and fair play to him, he wasn't accepting this. But I actually actively watched two girls literally try and grind on him, come up to him, because he's got money and all of those things, he's got that status. And I think, you know he's got a wife. Why would you do that? But fair play to him, he didn't accept it. But a lot of guys would. Is that just because the temptation is there and it's easy? Yes.
But again, it works both ways. You said women don't have a wandering eye. I disagree with you.
Okay, fair.
Again, general terms, but like you said, if a woman's missing something at home from their partner, it's not giving her attention, the woman can definitely look elsewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
And, and then the guy, of course, if a guy sees a woman making eye contact or giving signals, then the guy's, of course, going to go into X or Y with the person. But I've said to previous exes, it's not you that I'm worried about on the night out. It's just the guys, because I know that I've got a boyfriend. So that's typically the response from the guy. I don't care. Is he here? No. Okay, so are you going to entertain the chat? And if you entertain the chat, then things can get a little bit messy.
Okay, then I'm going to diverge on that then. So what would you, I don't know if this is actually a question, but it could be a question. But anyway, we're going to go with it anyway. What would you class as cheating then? And I know it's different for different people, but you personally, because I'll go into me personally as well.
Me personally, we'll start with social media, because obviously this is going on social media and everything. What would I class? Liking exes or previous exes' stories on Instagram or pictures on Instagram, chatting to them, entertaining conversations with them on any kind of social media. It doesn't have to be Instagram, any kind of social media, or any boy that oversteps the mark. And if you're entertaining that conversation, sending pictures to someone of the opposite sex, unless you're sending a picture of my shoe, like your shoe, to a friend, you're not expected to see half naked pictures. And obviously it's so easy to send pictures these days and they disappear and you would have no idea what's going on. Again, this is probably something that you wouldn't necessarily know about, but as soon as someone gets into their mind that they have to delete a conversation, a WhatsApp, a text message,
cheat.
That's it. You're cheating, because you're trying to hide something from your partner, which again goes down the cheating route. You could be on a night out, you could give your Instagram to someone if they're showing an interest in it, like, here's my Instagram. Yeah. Or even if the guy says to you, here's my Instagram, sorry, I've got a boyfriend. Yep. That's it. Or girlfriend. Same with the telephone number. You don't have to give them your telephone number, regardless of how many times they ask you or try. So no.
Yeah, I think number's definitely worse than Instagram, like, because you can get asked your number and you go, I agree with you actually on the whole Instagram thing. But if it was that for me personally, if it's like a group, you've just met a group of guys and you're a group of girls, and then everyone's dishing out their Instagrams, or they add you the next day, I don't class that as cheating.
No, if it's a one-on-one situation.
But it's a one-on-one situation,
yeah.
Because different. You can tell when someone's interested in you or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's social media.
Yeah, that's
and then
social
obviously
media.
Then
face-to-face.
Standard.
Numbers, the Instagram thing. Even if you're sat there entertaining a conversation from someone and you don't make it clear within the first couple of minutes of the conversation that you've got a partner, boyfriend or girlfriend, then...
Do you know what? Saying that, I actually had so much respect. I was out at the weekend, and like, because we were in mixed groups, so I was sat next to a guy, just talking about stupid things like ice baths and stuff like that. And instantly, within about 5 minutes into the conversation, he dropped in, oh yeah, me and my girlfriend went and did that. And I loved it because I'm like, you've got so much respect for your girlfriend that within 5 minutes, like, because we don't know each other, you're telling me, and I loved it. And I just think if we had more men like that in the world, and I know, Nick, you would be like that, we need more of it in the world.
It just needs to be subtly put in. It doesn't need to be like, I've got a girlfriend or boyfriend printed on my forehead. It just like you just said, that guy said, me and my girlfriend did this.
Exactly.
So simple. But it's more often than not, it doesn't happen, unfortunately.
On both sides.
Yeah,
on
both sides. Guys and girls. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard because you can't help, like, you do like a little flirt. Would you class a little flirt as cheating?
Depends how far the flirting goes. If the flirting's like starting to get touchy feely.
Oh God, no.
If the flirting's starting to send pictures to each other, if the flirting's starting to, it just depends how more often than not, it's not going to happen over a text message. It's going to happen when you're out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you can make it abundantly clear that that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I'm off.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Okay, I agree. I'm actually in agreement with you, but a lot of people might not be.
Yeah. This is
but
my
I think it comes down to your morals.
Yeah.
And the way that you've been brought up and all of those things. It definitely has an impact. But we need more people like that. Okay, next question, and it's an interesting one, is what do you think is the best way for a woman to be to stand out to a man to make them want to settle with them?
Tough question.
That is a tough question.
A good question. Who was asked that? I think the way that a woman carries herself, again, I'm going to say man or woman because I'm not going to generalize, but how you carry yourself, whether it's face to face, when you go on a date, social media, which is a massive one.
Okay, interesting. I want to go into more on that.
Yeah. So let's start with like the face to face one. If a girl's all over you, being sloppy, if she's drunk, if she's if she's like loud and you can see that that's just a massive turn off, big no. If it's going on a date, it could be similar. Like if you go there and then she starts, and this has happened to one of my friends actually. Okay. I want you to pay the bill.
Oh.
Like, okay, the guy was probably going to offer to pay the bill. It was the first date, and she was like, "You're paying for the bill." He got the bill. They got home in a taxi. He said, "Okay, do you mind getting a taxi?" She was, "I'm not paying for the taxi. You're paying for the taxi." Yeah, I couldn't believe it when he told me the next day. But things like that, like there's certain things and certain ways that you behave and hold yourself and morals, etc. Social media. Oh God, where do we start? Look, I know girls use social media more so than guys.
Yep.
I get that. But it's how you portray yourself on social media. If you're always posting half-naked pictures of yourself, if you're always posting pictures of you drinking on Instagram, like these are massive red flags and off-putting for guys on the whole. The only thing that guys will probably be thinking is, next time I see her, it's going to be an easy shag.
I'm just going to stop you there, though. But on the social media thing with half-naked girls, this is the problem that all men, well, not all men, sorry, generalising, but we find that so many men that we know or whatever like these girls' pictures, so it makes you think, oh, that's who they're into. Maybe I need to become like that.
But why are they into them? What's the end goal?
Yeah, but in our head, we're not thinking that.
But I'm telling you from a guy's perspective.
Yeah, okay, exactly. This is what we need. This is why we need it.
So from a guy's perspective, and look, I've been there. My guy mates still do it all the time. Like, you're liking that picture for a reason. You want the girl to know that maybe you're interested. It's not because you necessarily like the picture. You might like what you're seeing, but you don't have to like it. The reason you're liking it is so that she gets a notification, she sees it. Okay, this person's just seen my picture. Perfect. The guy, next time he sees her out, he's probably going to chat to her, maybe opening topic of conversation, and you're just thinking, I'm taking her home tonight.
End goal. Okay.
End goal. Yeah, if she's constantly posting, I'm not saying 1 or 2 pictures here and there, fine. Yeah. But if you're constantly posting, and this one gets me all the time when you're like taking back shots of your bum when you're laying down, like, grow up. Yeah, like there's, it just not the best way to portray yourself constantly. I get it. We live in a hot country. We're lucky enough to live in Dubai, so it's a bit different for us. But again, if it's just constant bikini pictures or this and that, alcohol pictures, as a guy, you're just thinking,
party girl.
Not for party girl, not for me. Probably, this is quite direct, but probably know quite a few people who've probably slept with her. Not for me. Gross. Ick.
Okay, fair. So basically, we just need to hold ourselves with self-respect. Yeah. But I think that comes with when you love yourself enough. Like, again, sorry, ladies, but I am generalising here. But I find that the people that post the most, unless it's for business or like influencers and things like that, the people that post the most they're actually the most insecure.
Agreed. 100% agree with you. Yeah. And it works. I think it works more so on women. I don't really see that many guys that post. That's a lie. I do see guys who post quite a lot. And some guys, I actually know them quite well, but they're also the unhappiest.
Yeah, exactly.
If you feel the need to constantly share everything you're doing, I'm going for a walk, I'm going to do this, I'm taking the dog out, I'm out for dinner, I'm taking a picture of my wine. Like, we don't need to see that. I don't care if you're drinking a glass of red wine at home watching I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're just so insecure that it comes down, I think, as well to fishing.
Yeah, of course.
For, again, both ways. And I've had guys openly say this to me and girls openly say, I'm waiting for someone, or I'm waiting for people to like my post or my story. When I see who's like my story, right, if this person keeps popping up, maybe he's going to start chatting to me, or she's going to start chatting to me. Or she's interested. If it's a guy perspective, you might think, right, she's interested, let me slide in. So again, it comes down to fishing, I think, as well, for compliments, fishing for someone to speak to. And from a guy's perspective, if you see a girl liking your stories, your posts, you're thinking, right, I'm going to slide in because I've got a chance.
Is that true?
100%.
Okay, and so do you guys like our pictures and stories for that reason, in the hope that we're going to slide in?
Yeah, both ways. 100%.
No, but for me, like, I just go liking, like...
Yeah, but...
I, to be fair, they'll be my friends, probably.
Yeah, okay,
but like,
if they're your friends...
It's me, I'm just liking, like, the boy mates.
Yeah, but boy mates are different.
Okay,
but if you're liking... If someone's just followed you on Instagram or recently followed you or whatever, or someone that you don't really know but you've known of them, or they're in the same place as you, and you're liking their stories, from a guy's perspective, when we're seeing that, we're thinking... Perfect. She's interested. Let me slide in.
Oh.
100%.
And so you're expecting us to slide in if you keep liking?
We would slide in if you start liking.
But if you start liking ours, so are you expecting us to like slide in at some point?
It's happened to me, to my friends, where the girls actually started liking back or slid in directly.
Oh, okay, yeah, we do the like back.
Yeah, as soon as you get the like back, you know it's game over. But if the girl does slide in, it does happen, then, okay, you're onto something. But more often than not, we're just going to be like, right, we know she's interested, let me slide in myself and crack on from there.
Okay, interesting. I like it. I'm getting information, girls. We're getting the information. Yeah. Okay, next question is, do you think it's possible to forgive cheating?
No. Didn't even have to think about that one. No,
yeah.
No way. I mean, it can be hard because you can love the person that you're with, and obviously you're heartbroken. Is it me? But then it goes down a dangerous spiral. Is it me? What have I done wrong? So I don't think so, no.
And not only that, like, as much, it damages your self-esteem, but also for me, it's, I don't want them to go on a boys' holiday. I then don't want them to go out on a night out. All of those things, it just comes up, and you're going to bring it up again. Exactly. It's not just like forgive and forget.
Yeah, you might think you've forgotten about it, and then you have a couple of drinks, and then it gets brought up again. Or, like you said, you go on a boys' holiday, or they're out with the guys. You might start thinking, do I need to pick up his phone and see who he's texting? And once you start going down like that spiral, it's just so unhealthy for whoever it is, guy or girl, in that situation, and it's just no.
Yeah, it's a no for me too. Okay, good question. I love this question. It's my favourite one. What's your biggest ick?
One, or can I give you a couple?
Give me a couple.
Give you a couple. I'll start with the social media one. Like people who are constantly thirst trapping. Hopefully most of you know what that means, where you're like constantly fishing for likes or compliments or whatever it may be by posting a certain type of picture or constantly posting. Thirst trapping is a big like turn off.
Okay, fair.
Again, what you post. If it's always half naked, if it's always with your boobs out or whatever it may be, gross. Fake tan. Now, I'm sorry, probably most of you fake tan yourselves, but when it starts getting a bit blotchy and you look like
crocodile skin.
Yeah. When you look like a snake, then and it's washing off in my bed, and it's just, and the smell. I don't know what you girls use, but you smell like cookies. No,
we can't help it. It's just fake tan. But I get
all of those things. You live in a hot country. Sit in the sun.
I don't have time. I'm a busy girl.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean. But you can't. There's not a fake tan that smells nice.
No.
And if there is one, girls, please recommend it to all of us.
Yeah, for our sake as well.
But people say, "Oh yeah, this one smells really nice." I put it on. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
It's horrible. Yeah, it's one of my biggest icks. Unpainted nails. Now I've actually been slaughtered for this one before because toes and nails. But if I personally, this is a personal one, and again, guys that I know, if the nails and toenails are unpainted, it's just a bit like, oh, did you not have time to put a little bit of polish on?
But I actually fully agree. It gives me the ick when, I'm sorry, ladies, but we can get manicures, we can get pedicures. You just got to look after it. Or have nothing. Don't leave it chipped.
Yeah, chips is the worst. Oh my God. Or when they pick them off and you've just got like 2 or 3 toes done and the rest aren't done. Horrible.
So it's a no, ladies. That's not what we can do.
Yeah, it's a no. Swearing is another one. Like if the person constantly swears, I wouldn't say it's as much as an ick, but it's just like, just be mindful of your tongue. Like tone it down. Loud people. Okay, so if you're out and there's always one person who's laughing extra loud, or
me,
or speaking at the top of their lungs, or whatever it may be, then again, that's just like rein it in.
Okay,
just a little bit. I'm getting sweaty hands thinking about these icks because they're actually
Yeah, they are the icks. Okay, yeah, because us women, like, we do have just like weird. Anything can give us the ick, like genuinely anything. But mine is small ankles, and you can't do anything about it. But I swear to God, I can't. Like, I just can't.
Like when they're like little goat's ankles.
Yeah, like if you're going to accidentally kick them, they might break. So
God.
You can't.
Gust of wind comes and he's falling on the floor. Yeah.
Oh God, no. But like I have ones where I've done this before in my story, and I've put out girls which are biggest dick, and the funniest one for me was, and it's so true, when you were at bowling and then they walk back from after bowling the ball. Oh my God, it's
it works both ways.
I know, but it's
just that awkward 5 meters. Like, what do you do? You're just like looking at everyone. If you've got a high five, God, sit down.
No, God.
That's really made me paranoid now because of what.
Yeah, exactly. But it is such an ick. Anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is the last question. Then we're going to go on dilemmas.
Yeah.
What would be your biggest turn off if you were seeing a girl that's going to cause you to stop seeing them? And it probably goes into what you said before, but let's just.
So if I'm dating, seeing a girl and it causes me to stop seeing them.
Yeah, what's your biggest turn off for that?
Oh, rudeness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that again comes down in the ick section as well. Like if someone's rude to their friends or their parents, or again, it comes down to how you hold yourself. That's probably one of my biggest turn-offs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it falls into calling names.
Yep.
Okay, I get it. You sometimes joke and whatever, but if you're constantly, I'm not going to use the word abusing. Yeah, if you're abusing your partner with certain names all the time, it's just like, oh, no, that's it. We're done. There has to be boundaries and level of respect from both parties, and it has to be like established early on. Yeah. So that's one of my biggest ones.
I agree, actually. Even it comes down to being rude to a waiter. If a man's rude to a waiter, that's it. I would never see them again.
Yeah, I agree.
It sets the tone of who you are at the core.
Yeah.
So okay, fair.
The biggest one to the parents as well.
Oh,
how they act in front of their parents. If they're dismissive, if they shut them up, if they're rude to them, then that's immediate red flags, because you're thinking, right, if you're rude to your parents like that, what are you like as a person? What were your kids going to grow up to be like, which you're hoping to probably happen to them? That's it, done. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's about respect. And okay, fair. Now we're going on to dilemmas. So thank you, ladies, for sending in your dilemmas. I have 3.
Okay.
This one is, I was seeing someone for like 8-9 weeks and I didn't sleep with him until after the 9th date. Once I slept with him, he went really distant and now we don't speak. But he keeps liking my Instagram stories. Why is he doing this, and should I reach out?
I mean, fair play for lasting 9 dates and 9 weeks.
9 weeks is a long time. Fair play, girl.
Yeah, well done. He keeps liking your posts. I think you need...
No, stories.
Oh, he's liking your stories.
Because I think posting a story is very different. When you're liking the story, it's a bit more...
Yeah. I don't think it's your fault. I think he needs to man up, personally. I think he needs to be a man. Am I allowed to say that in this day and age? Yeah.
Well,
he needs
you might get cut for that, but it's fine. I don't care.
Cancel
it's
me.
True.
Look, I think he needs to be a bit of a man about the situation. If he's just slept with you once after 9 weeks, but he was happy to entertain nearly 3 months worth of conversation, getting to know you, unless something disastrous happened when you were in bed together, I'm assuming not.
Yeah, especially, would you like your stories if something disastrous happened?
Don't slide in. Just find yourself a better man who's actually a man and not a boy, because it just sounds like a bit of an immature game.
Yes, Nick, I love that. That's so true. Like, know your worth in it.
100%.
If he's willing to do that, then to be honest, what type of relationship is this going to be?
Exactly, yeah. It comes down to games. Like, why are you playing games nearly 3 months in?
Yeah.
Stop wasting your time.
Stop wasting your time. I love that. Okay, dilemma 2. I'm in a relationship, and at the beginning the sex was great, but now we all argue all the time and our sex life is getting less and less. Is he sleeping with someone else, or does he just not want me anymore?
I wouldn't necessarily go down the route of he's sleeping with someone else straight away. Like, there might be, and Rachel mentioned this actually in your podcast last week.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Like, life does get in the way sometimes, which can cause arguments, which, and I'm going to speak from personal experience here, it does affect libido, right, in a guy, because it's harder for us to prepare for sex because obviously we need to get the erection and everything else, whereas the girl just needs to get comfortable.
And if we want to fake it, we can fake it.
Yeah, exactly. But for the guy, if life comes in the way, it could be job, it could be money issues, it could be family issues, it could be any of those factors, like stress. Stress is a massive one, and lack of sleep. Lack of sleep, like, I think people underestimate how much a lack of sleep, a good diet, sunlight,
really
massive. And if all of those start to play in and come in together, that affects what happens downstairs with a guy.
So would you say that that's like the main factor? Like, because for us, when it comes to that, like as women, and I know we spoke about this last week, but it really does have an effect on our self-esteem. And we really do question, is it us? Does he fancy us anymore? Like, all of those things. Especially in this one, because the sex was great at the beginning. So, like, I think if it's always been not that great, then it's a different scenario.
But she said that they were arguing. Now, I don't know what you're arguing about. If you're arguing about and, like, attacking each other all day, every day, then that's completely different. But if it's, like, small things that are getting on each other's nerves, it comes down to communication.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to actually speak to each other to find out what's going on. It could just be, Nick, what's happening? Something's changed in the last couple of weeks. Are you okay? Is there something going on in your life? Is work okay? Is stress levels all right? You haven't been sleeping, I can feel you at night, whatever it may be. But if you don't communicate, you won't know. Yeah. And obviously I don't know what the argument sort of stems from, but it's still worth speaking to that person and being like, why are we arguing? What's the root cause of the arguments? So maybe find out all of that first before you start jumping to conclusions that he's sleeping with someone else.
Exactly. That is our initial thing. Yeah. He must be. He's a man. Like, why does he not want to sleep with me? He's going to be, if he's not sleeping with me, he must be sleeping with someone else. That is instantly what
it's hard enough to entertain one woman, let alone 2, 3, 4. So just don't jump to conclusions, speak to him and just work out something. If it's going to continue, and you're not open to conversations with each other, then maybe start considering your options.
Fair. Okay. Like it. Third and final dilemma is, how do you meet people these days? I swear I'm born in the wrong generation.
Obvious ones. You've got social media. You've got Instagram was a big one that boys use, Hinge, Tinder, and all of that stuff. Going out is obviously a big way to meet people, but again, you might not necessarily meet the right type of person. If you're going clubbing, you're going to hear, hi, how are you? Probably that's about it. But if you're in a restaurant and you're or at a bar and it's a bit more cozy and there's actually noise and ambience and you can actually meet someone like that. But I think the biggest one for the younger generations, I say that I'm just 29 then with 30, right? But the 22s to 28, 29-year-olds, it's just social media.
Do you really think that's the key?
I think it's one of the biggest ones, yeah.
I've never met anyone on social media.
Never.
No, I don't.
But it depends. Like, right, we live, again, I
just lied to you, I have.
Yeah, but we live in Dubai, right? We can go out and it's very easy because everything is small.
Exactly.
But if we're speaking to someone who's living in like a London, it might take you 45 minutes to get from your house to where you're going. It might take you another whatever to sit down to find, and it's just like it's a hassle. It's long. You're not going to do it as frequently as we do it in Dubai because we are lucky enough to have a beach 15 minutes on our doorstep. We can go meet people at gym classes, which most of us do a couple of times a week.
But touching on the gym classes one, and I've seen like people talk about this before, is men don't want to approach women in a gym because they're in their moment and it can become across as creepy. I disagree. If I'm in the middle of a set and I'm literally back squatting down and someone comes, oh hi, how are you? I'm like, wait till I've finished. That's different. But I think I would prefer to meet someone in that environment because then I know that you're into the same things as me. So instantly we've got something,
a bond,
a connection, and more so than a party boy.
Yeah, And look, given the way that I know a lot of people are filming what they do in the gyms, and then it's getting posted on social media, like, it's scary. I wouldn't do that personally.
Yeah.
But it has happened before where I've been like in a Barry's class or a similar type environment, and I've seen the same person over and over and over, and then you just you start chatting. It's a bit more of a relaxed environment rather than, like you said, back squatting and someone's staring at your bum and you're like, what are you doing, you weirdo?
Yeah, exactly.
But finishing the class together a couple of times and then you'd be like, hey, how are you? What's your name?
Okay, fair. And I think as well, and hold my hands up, I'm guilty of this. I'm not one to like give that eye contact so of course no one's going to really come and approach you. So ladies, I'm talking to you now, that I've been told this 100 times. I'm unapproachable because I don't give like the eye contact or give off the impression that I'm looking. And apparently, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you do that, men come and approach.
Agree, 100%.
I've practiced it, it works.
It does work. Like the guys, if they get like a small signal, they'll come and approach. I'm just going to say one thing as well. Like I know this audience is largely ladies. It is also intimidating for a guy more often than not to go over to a group of girls, because you're not just going to be stood there by yourself. You're going to be sat with a group or with a group of people, girls more often than not. It's intimidating for a guy to walk over. It takes a lot of balls to go over. Now, don't get me wrong. You've got your friends jeering you like, "Come on, she's looking at you. Go over," and that helps. And we do that to each other a lot, but you have to give like just small little signals.
Small signals.
Small signals.
Small signals, girls. That's what we've got to do.
I'm not saying just stare at him like this, but just like look over a couple of times, maybe give him a nice little smile, and then
then you're in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you everyone for your questions, but the last question is a question towards me. So I'm going to start a new tradition on the podcast and have every guest ask me a question. Okay. So Nick, do you have a question for me that you'd like to answer?
Is it true that nice guys always finish last?
Look, no. I think yes and no, depending on the type of person. I think what happens is initially for women, we like the whole confidence, the ego, somebody that's going to protect you, look after you and all of those things. And that's not to say that nice guys can't do that, but initially like they're a bit more reserved and probably the quieter ones in the group, which is also the nicer ones. And I think what happens is women get hurt enough times that then they realise, actually, I need to change this up. My type is not the right type. I'm getting hurt over and over again. I'm going to try the nice guy. Yeah. The problem is you get women who always go to it, nice guys are boring. Like, this is the problem. And I think and then nice guys try to be someone that they're not. Yeah. But actually, if you just stick to being a nice guy, then you're going to win in the end. Stay authentic. And us women, we want it. Like, sorry, if I could have a nice guy, that's all I want now, because I'm not settled, is someone that's nice, kind, loyal, funny, but not the loudest guy in the room, and not somebody that's basically a bit of an arsehole. But initially, you do find that attractive. Yeah, why? I don't know. It's something, I think it's because if we go back like into evolution, we chose a man to protect us, to be that family protector. So when you've got somebody that is like big, bolshy, strong, naturally we're attracted to that. But I think as you get older, you decide, actually, that's not who I want, because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. So nice guys do always win in the end. In the end. But you have to stick to being nice. So you think when a woman starts to mature and they've got off the rude boy phase or whatever they're looking for, because all girls go through it, right? I've been that boy in the past, and then I've been too nice in past relationships, and it's just not worked out because they're like, you're too nice. So you have to find like a nice medium. Is that what you're trying to say between the two? And I think, for both, women need to find that balance and men need to find that balance. But I think there is some women that never come off the hype. Yeah. But they're the relationships that everybody talks about. So then men probably think, well, that's what I need to be like. Yeah. But it's not. We're talking about it because it's a disaster. Yeah. So keep your standards high. Stay nice, guys. Yeah. So much, Nick. That is all of the questions answered, all of your dilemmas. Normally I would say, like, where can we find you? But I'm not putting you out in the market. So Nick is taken, and it's such a shame, because he's honestly, if we could have duplicates of him, we'd all be happy ladies, I promise you. And I'm not trying to big him up, but it's true. Thanks. But For me, if you can review my podcast so it can get out there to as many people as we can. And if you have any dilemmas that you want answered or any questions you want answered, I'm going to get different perspectives from male and female audience every single week. So send them across. Everything will be in the show notes. And ladies, if you are someone that struggles with your self-esteem, or you're going through a heartbreak, or you're really struggling in the dating world, reach out to me for one-to-one coaching and I can guide you along the way. Thank you so much. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome.